Yes, he played piano for Cat Stevens on the hit single Morning Has Broken, and of course he's well known as a grumpy old man. He also lives in Norfolk.
He's also an active member of the Conservative Party, and as we approach a general election, he's spoken to our reporter Clive Lewis about his views on everything from care for the elderly to the recession.
Norwich Castle, built in 1067 by William the Conqueror. He built it to guard off against attack from the Danes. What a wise man. It was a time of great wealth and power for here, but for the masses, well, they were left to fend for themselves. I totally believe in the concept of a welfare state, and I know this is a very simplistic answer, but it almost needs a blank sheet of paper and for somebody to start again, because when the welfare state was first put together, it was a completely different world to the one that we're living in now. If my parents were still alive, I would quite literally say to them, spend it. Because what's the point of saving because you care about your community, you care about your old age, and it's going to be taken away?
I wouldn't have thought you were anywhere near old enough to remember me.
Well, I'm not, but my grandma does.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
This is the old hospital at Bishopsgate in Norwich. It was a medieval almshouse built in 1249 to care for the citizens of Norwich, and has done ever since. A real early example of the tradition of helping those in need. We never planned for the future. We are the classic nation of building the two-lane motorway, and when we finished realised we needed 3. And then when we built the third one, realised that we now need 4 because the slip roads don't work. It is freezing out there. It's known that I am a member of the Conservative Party, card carrier member, so in essence everybody would expect me to say appalling. The Labour Party have handled it abysmally. I think whoever had been in power at this moment in time would have struggled like crazy.
We have a sing-song today, they'll all be saying when they go home. Who played the piano? Rick Wakeman is famous. That's great that he can play a Nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. And you can hear more from Rick Wakeman in the Politics Show Sunday at midday on BBC One. Now, if you love cars, the chances are you've dreamed of driving a racing car. For most people, it's a dream that never comes true. But Nick Tandy, who lives in Bedfordshire, is getting very close to driving in the Porsche Super Cup.
But he'll be doing it without the help and support of his brother. Joe used to be Nick's team manager, but was killed in a car accident last year.
He lives among the tractors and combine harvesters, but Nick Tandy has speed running through his veins. This season he's set to be on the same bill as Hamilton, Button and Schumacher.
It does mean that I won't be able to sit in my living room and watch the Grand Prix on a Sunday afternoon. But to be honest, being there and actually racing myself, it's not a bad substitute.
The Porsche Super Cup runs alongside Formula One. Crowds of 100,000 plus will watch him compete after Nick's talents were spotted by a German team boss. A fully paid drive in motorsport is very rare, but those who know him can see why he pressed the right buttons.
There's a lot of drivers around, and they'll all tell you how good they are. Strangely, Nick's the only one who doesn't tell you how good he is, which to me speaks volumes. Nick is very competent. He is above and beyond the rest of his peers.
But there's someone missing from the pit lane this season. Nick's brother and well-respected team manager Joe, killed in a car accident last year. To say it's been tough on Nick would be an understatement.
It's not easy. It's not easy without him here. But you know, he always wanted me to do the best I could in the sport, and that's definitely something that I'm going to carry on as my #1 goal. You know, he'll hopefully be proud of me one day.
Nick's courage was displayed at Rockingham last year, the day before Joe's funeral. He went on to win a Formula 3 contest. The scenes after were packed full of emotion.
It's amazing the support that we've had as a team and a family. Joe was an incredibly popular guy. He was also incredibly good at his job, which I think a lot of rival team managers are fully aware of, if you like.
Nick's drive in the Porsche Super Cup would be fully paid, but he does need to raise money to pay for his travel and accommodation. But if he gets his hands on the silverware again, there won't be a dry eye in the paddock. Jonathan Park, BBC Look East, Bedfordshire.
We'll let you know how he gets on. Now, if you're a fan of the royal family and you like food, this next story is just for you.
A new company in Norfolk is hoping to make the county famous for beef, as well as turkeys. And this is not just any old beef.
We're not far from the royal estate at Sandringham here, and I've been wondering, what do you think the Queen has for her tea? Beans on toast? Fish fingers, perhaps?
She might like a nice fish finger, but the truth is we don't really know. However, we do know that when the royal family are at Sandringham, the royal chefs place a big meat order here at the West Newton Village Butchers. It's part of a new business designed to promote the herd of red poll cattle on the royal estate and to give job opportunities to the likes of trainee butcher Craig Hines. And yes, the family has been taking a close interest.
The Prince of Charles popped in on Wednesday. Nobody knew about it, and give us good marks on our counter, and it was all good.
This story goes back to when the Queen's father took a keen interest in red poll cattle. They disappeared from Sandringham in the mid-60s, only to be reintroduced 4 years ago.
Just tell me about the meat.
It's marbled, so it brings out in the cooking that all melts in and gives it this wonderful flavour.
Of course, Her Majesty does have a few people round at Christmas, and they don't just get turkey sandwiches and the odd vol au vent.
What did they have while they were here?
Well, obviously they had red pole steaks, red pole beef, obviously some of the lamb as well. They have a whole variety of products.
Do you know whether Her Majesty approved?
I don't know, but I would have thought so.
Fried in olive oil for a couple of minutes each side. We don't know for sure that the Queen enjoyed her steak, but I certainly enjoyed mine. Mike Liggins, BBC Look East at Sandringham.
Now, there are two things. First of all, I'm really pleased to know that the Prince of Charles knows a good counter when he sees one. And I bet the Queen doesn't eat in her scarf.
But Mike Liggins does. And someone who's been licking his lips to the left of me is Jim Bacon.
Oh, yes, getting hungry now. Right, well, the weather is trying to warm up. We had a reasonably mild day today, but it turned cloudy after some brief brightness for a time. This cloud edging north